Welcome back to Recovery Drive here at Box 3 Motorsports. My name is Adam Thursby. You can call me Molson FL. I am joined this week for week 1 of PCACC Season 5. And Fife, I should probably introduce you guys first. Joining me in the top right-hand side of your screen, Adam Willie returns to the show. And down below, you see there Mr. B Fife 22 himself, our Xbox League manager. I want to say special guest, Fife, but I'm kind of hoping you'll be a regular here, and when you can be from week to week, you know, when it's possible. So again, Fife is our Xbox League manager. I wanted to get him on the show because we have an Xbox League. We talked about it last week, and we haven't talked about Xbox on this show because, well, you know, we were busy talking about PC stuff, and we're going to do both now. So let's go. So welcome to both you guys. So Fife, before we get into the PCACC side, which we're going to talk about standings and everything after Paul Ricard with Adam, where is Xbox at right now? I know you guys are in season 6, but has it already started, or is it? I don't have the schedule in front of me and I can't remember it. So
yeah, we actually started on the same weekend. That's accidentally right. Somehow.
Okay.
So yeah, we just had round 1 at Mazzano on Saturday, 60-minute season opener, and then this weekend we're going to be at Watkins Glen.
Nice. So
which is always a good one.
Now, is season 6 going to be the first season that you guys are running the US DLC tracks, or did that start last season a little bit? I can't remember.
It's the first main season. We did, when the tracks came out, we did like a casual Sunday series of the 4 US tracks.
Okay.
But we'll have a bigger grid with the main season.
Awesome.
So yeah, excited for that.
And it's been going well too. It seems like, I mean, Xbox, like, so folks should know Xbox has some restrictions, both consoles, whether you're on Xbox or PS5. We run an Xbox League. There are some restrictions there as far as the number of drivers you can have on. And that's where, what was it, about 6 months ago or so, we had to make a decision as a league to say, are we going to stick with Xbox One or are we going to move on to Series X? Because Series X allowed us to open it up to 30 drivers. And it looks like since we've done that, you guys are almost filling the grid every week, right? Like, we get a lot of
Yeah,
people.
the season gets signed up fully, and we have a few reserves, and we end up each week having like 25, I want to say 23,
Wow.
25 drivers showing out,
That's awesome.
which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know when we started, not only when because I was still on Xbox when we started, and also from previous leagues that you and I have raced in together, Fife. You know, you'd have 10 to 12, maybe 15 drivers, and that was in the 1X days. So you could only get 20 anyway. So 15 felt like a great grid, but now with 30 drivers, you're getting 25. That's fantastic, and I'm glad Xbox is going well. So, so you said you're going to Watkins Glen next week. Not the first time you guys have driven there. And again, I know you have nothing to compare it to, but do you feel like the US tracks came out well on the Xbox? I know there were problems with the recent update, like over the holidays, things were crazy, but did the tracks themselves come out okay and everything just seemed to work for those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the tracks are fine. The patch that essentially broke the game for 3 weeks came out at the same time, but it wasn't really related to the tracks. The tracks don't have any weird glitches or bugs or cause crashes or anything.
No, Watkins causes crashes. We've witnessed it on the PC side. Don't let anybody get hung up between the walls. Crashes. Yeah, don't get anybody hung up between the walls going up the uphill after T2, because it's not going to end well for anybody. We've witnessed that ourselves. I think Willie might have been in that race as well. So fun times.
No,
Retro
before my time.
Retro couldn't make it. Retro's the one that I'll put it in quotes, caused that incident and that pile up. It wasn't really his fault, I don't think. Overall, he did what he was supposed to do and sat still, but it was still interesting to watch, to say the least. So, well, man, that's great. And you said the patch came out at the same time as the tracks. That was right before the holidays. Blew up the game for 3 weeks. It was basically unplayable for the most part. I remember seeing your messages of telling the guys you got to delay the season, delay the season, delay the season.
Yeah.
Then a patch comes out right before the Christmas and New Year's holidays, seems to fix it. Have things been going? And again, I know you just started this weekend with a new season, but I think there were some events during the beginning of January. Have things been going smoothly since then, since they patched that out and races have been completing with no issues?
Yeah, honestly, the game right now is simultaneously the most stable it's been. Maybe the only state where it was better was like at the end on Xbox One, where we had spectator mode and there weren't really any game crashes, but obviously you were limited frame rate wise. So the game runs really, really well right now.
Good.
And then the community itself has discovered how to get certain features to work just through experimentation and working around in the server logs that are now available that weren't in any official patch notes that these things were now available. So yeah, right now is the best time to be on a new gen Xbox racing.
Awesome, man. Well, that is great to hear, and I'm glad things have been going well. Now, again, you're going to be moving to PC soon, so really, you're welcome back here anytime. But we're going to keep you coming back for Xbox throughout Season 6. And I threw up a post on the Discord the other day. Anybody's watching, anybody's listening, any of our Xbox drivers. I know Fife has talked to a couple of you guys, but we are looking for a league manager for the Xbox side. We want to keep this league going. Fife has done a great job. Seriously, I can't praise you enough, man, because you jumped on. I got rid of my Xbox, so it was very hard for me to continue to run the league, and I was in a position where it was, do we continue this or do we let it go? Because I don't have a way to watch it. I don't have a way to be on track with the drivers. Even as a spectator, I couldn't do anything, right? ProShoe, you jumped in, and dude, you've run it with gusto since then. It's been fantastic. I sit back and go, do you need help with the server? And okay, if you need me to cover. And other than that, man, you haven't really needed me, but if you do, I'm always here. So again, I can't speak your praises enough, and I thank you for it. And we're going to keep you coming back to talk about Xbox throughout this season and for PC in the future. So I'm very curious though to see what happens when we get V5 on PC. He is one of our resident alien Xbox drivers, very fast. And I cannot wait to see. This is one of the ones, you know, we see people come over from Xbox to PC and you're like, oh, how's this going to play? I think, Fife, you are probably the most anticipated PC driver at Box 3 that we've had maybe the whole time. So I can't wait for that to happen. So as soon as you decide to pull the trigger on that Amazon cart, people are going to be champing at the bit to see if they can beat you on track. I guarantee you that. So we'll see if we get you in before the end of Season 5.
We'll see.
That would be great.
Yeah, I plan to finish this season on Xbox for sure, racing, and then historically we've done like a special event in between each season. So we'll definitely do one of those, and I'll take part in that. And then beyond that is where I'll probably, as long as the PC build goes to plan, is when I'll switch to a little more of just a support role on Xbox for, you know, whoever takes over, to make sure, you know, I don't want to just hand someone the keys and, you know, you're like, all right, it's yours now, and ignore them. So we'll definitely support whoever that is. So
and that's why we put that post up now, right? Because it gives us this Season 6 to try and get somebody in now who can start learning, start working with yourself mainly, and myself when I can help out, and I'm more than willing to do that because I've run the server before. So should be something that if we can get somebody in there quickly, they're going to have time to learn it, and hopefully won't need a ton of support come the new Xbox season. So we got a great support staff at Box 3 with Zap in the chat doing our graphics and everything. We do SimGrid stuff, so I think we're going to be okay. Let's talk about Paul Ricard this past weekend. Adam, Willie, you raced this weekend. We're going to go through standings in just a minute, but let me get your impression overall first about this weekend's race. How did you feel about, not your race specifically, but how both races went in general?
I thought they went really well compared to last season, where Pro and Silver were constantly wrecking T1 in at least 3 of the races. Didn't see a whole lot of that. We did have maybe 2 incidences in each race. So, and the drivers felt confident enough that they didn't need to report it. They got with each other. No hard feelings. So, really? So overall, I think it was both really good races.
So you're saying we had no reports?
We had one.
One report? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Excellent. And you're absolutely right. I would share your sentiment on this weekend's races. I think we spoke last week a little bit about Season 4 and what we saw in Pro and Silver. I know we talked about it I talked about it with Phil Milwee during the race itself, but what we saw during Season 4 on PCACC in regards to Pro and Silver drivers, the first, and I think you're right, the first 2 or 3 races were just horrendous. Now after that, right, everything got worked out, everything went smoothly, and we see an incident right there on screen, but this race for both Am and Pro-Am and Silver and Pro were, to your point, fantastic. Very clean racing, a lot of hard racing. And what I'm finding is as guys like Huff come in, you know, Huff Manic in the chat is our PC league manager, sets this stuff up, does the qualifying with support from others, of course. But my point being is, you know, when we started a year and 4 months ago, a year and 3 months ago, whatever it is now at this point, races, as the guy that sits up in the booth, the races would start off heavy, right? A lot of close battles, all that stuff. And then, you know, say during a 45-minute race, after about the first 15 minutes, everybody spread out, right? The gaps got wider. There wasn't a lot of action on track. And what I've noticed is from the end of Season 4 and now coming into Season 5, my job has gotten a lot harder because it doesn't stop for the entire race. From the green light until it's over. And we saw that during our Pro race, our Pro and Silver race, between these two right here, Delilah Hazel and Jake Wells. They spent the entire hour or 45 minutes, whatever it was, just at each other the whole time. And there was action the whole race. It was crazy.
Well, you also had, who was it? Charlie Booth up there as well. All 3 of them were stuck together.
Yeah. Palm Tree in the chat, Charlie Booth. He was a part of that group. And at one point we had 4 cars all bucking for the same position. And it was great racing overall. And the whole time, as you said, very clean. A couple small minor incidents out there, people spinning, but nothing like what we've had before. So I think these were great races overall. Now, Willie, let me ask you this. What about your race in particular? How'd you feel about how you performed?
Shit show.
Is that okay? And we did see some of that. Everybody just saw that between Nathan Edwards and Nick Paquin door banging. Tell you what, at one point I think it was Delilah Hazel and Palm Tree, or it was Delilah and Jake that just went right to it with trading paint on those doors. I don't know how their numbers were still on the side of the car by the end of the race. It was awesome to watch. But why was your race such a horrible race? Was it because of the track? Are you going to blame Paul Ricard?
Actually, no. I small bit of it, yes.
Okay.
Because who likes Paul Ricard?
I don't, but that's me.
You put that hand down.
Alex in the chat says he loves Paul Ricard.
I like Paul Ricard in very specific circumstances. So when it's just clear weather, it's boring. I've done Paul Ricard. We did it last Xbox season. I made sure that there was a nice sunset going on. So there's actually something interesting to look at while you're driving on that parking lot. And then in another league that I just race in casually, because sometimes it's nice to finish the race, and then not have to worry about any results or anything like that. We did a race in the rain, and it was variable. So it was I think ×3 or ×4 multiplier. So there were like 10, 15-minute points in the race where the rain stopped.
Oh, wow.
So everyone was kind of in this limbo, like, oh shit, do I pit for, slicks, or do I stay out on wets? And I ended up gaining like 7 positions in that race just by sticking with wets and hoping that it was going to rain again. And it ended up doing it. And so it made that track really, really fun.
Wow. Yeah, Paul Ricard's never been one of my favorites, but I know some people like it, like Fife and Alex in the chat, so. Go ahead, Willie. What were you going to say?
My race, who was it? Keesar. Me and Keesar had a really good race up until maybe, I can't remember what lap it was, but I just straight turned into him on turn 3, and I felt real bad. I got out of his way, gave him the position back, and just lost most of my confidence. And from there, I just slowly fell back and was essentially all alone most of the race.
Gotcha. And that's what happens, right? You cause an incident, and I think most of our drivers, I know I always do, you feel bad when you cause somebody else to have trouble during a race. And so it kind of does tear out your confidence at that point, right? You're not quite in your groove anymore. Where before that you might have been running consistent laps and everything. I guarantee if you make one mistake that you're taking somebody out or having an issue bumping into somebody or anything, even if they don't get wiped out, you're probably going to make another mistake within a lap. Would you guys agree with that?
I'd say so. You're flustered trying, especially if you spin off track or something. You're flustered trying to get your bearings again.
Yeah.
And just
especially if you try and push yourself even harder to make up that time, you're going to make another mistake.
Yeah. 100% there. Charlie Booth, we talked about him earlier, taking out John Tracy right there on lap 13 during this race. Now, this was highlights from the Pro and Silver class race. Speaking of which, though, let's jump over. If I can figure out what I'm doing here, this will be...
See, I think I made one pass that entire race.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about results. We'll start with our AM class drivers this week, and we won't go through standings because it being week 1, race 1, the standings are the results from the races. So Brandon Walrath, Jace Wright, and Bruce Hopkins take podium for our AM class drivers. Jester Flume, Kenny O'Connor finish out the top 5. Chief Blaze with a top 10 finish at number 6. Frank Reynolds, the Warthog, and P7, Terrell Seens Taylor, Chi Kuba, and Stefan Music finish out your top 10 with Matthew Givens right there in P11, having not participated this week. And we'll move on to Pro-Am and check those results. Bob Charlton takes pole with Gian Cardoso and Justin Secombe on podium with him. Justin Secombe, I think, had a really good race. Did not start on the podium. I know that did not qualify on podium and was able to make up a lot of positions, stayed very consistent throughout that race, stayed out of trouble. Edward Walsh and Tristan Jonendijk finish out the top 5 with Steven Tomazik, Eric Allard, Burke Beat. Your boy Blue finishes in the top 10, and Alex Martin right there in number 10 to finish that out. Zwanenberg, Josie Austin, Michael Kazupski, and Robert Hepburn will roll out the standings for this week at Paul Ricard. Any surprises in there?
I really thought Alex was going to get a top 5.
I was gonna say I saw Alex in 10 because again, when covering the races, I know all these guys, we watch these guys and everything. But I don't pay attention to the classes during the race. I'm watching drivers race each other, and it's very hard to pay attention sometimes to class. So when I see that Alex finished in 10th, that is surprising, to be honest. I kind of expected him a little higher in class. I don't think I'm too surprised up top. Barb Charlton was very fast last season.
Yeah.
And so that's not a surprise. Justin Secombe has raced with us during endurance events. I don't know that he's been in our seasons before. I don't think he was in season 4. But excellent performance from him. And again, he did not start in, well, we can go look here at the qualifying just to see where Secombe started. I'm curious. So 7th. Qualified 7th, climbed himself up to a podium. He cannot be disappointed with that. Alex Martin suffering in the Lexus, though, from P4 and finishing in P10 during that race on this past Sunday. So gives you some idea what happened right there. It's all Alex's fault, I think, is what happened. At least it seems.
There was an incident, yes.
There was an incident.
I can't remember. Yes, there was an incident.
No matter what, it was his fault.
Well, I remember sitting in with Anderson, and actually, I think the entire what is it, the meeting with the Silver and Pro, and we were watching the race, and we saw that Alex got taken out. We were all shocked.
Yeah, I remember that happening, and it did feel bad for him, though. One of those things, but it does happen every week. Something's going to happen, I guarantee it. Let's talk real quick about our silver class drivers. Timothy Glendening, Louis Ricard, Igor Kornikov finish on the podium for Paul Ricard. Kevin Rivera and Mike Burkhoff on the top 5. Gasolina had a decent race with Rick Pixel, Nick Paquin, Josh Harrison, and Ridian Lloyd Davis not joining us this week, rounding out the top 10. Nikolai Tsiabuk, Matt Comiskey, Rob Keesar, Adam Willey, there he is, and George Garton not participating.
Top 15.
So you did make top 15 just ahead of Garton. So a little struggle this week. Like you said, your race was a bit of a show, but you know what? You got a long season to come back and take a look at. So that should not be a problem for you. I know you're consistent, man. I've raced against you in iRacing, and I know you'll bring that back up. So that won't be too big of a deal. Let's look at pro standings after week 1. Jake Wells, there he is. Charlie Booth able to beat out Delilah Hazel this week for your podium. 2 McLarens, 1st and 2nd at Paul Ricard. We'll see if that manufacturer's holds on throughout. And I think I thought you could pull manufacturer results. I'll figure it out. I think that's standings only, so we'll take a look.
Did you guys just get a BOP adjustment on PC in the past day or two?
Well, I know there's been like 3 updates in the last week. I will tell you that. Every time I go into Steam updates, there's stuff there.
That could make the manufacturers interesting.
That could flip it around. Delilah is a monster in that Audi, along with Tobias Gable. John Tracy 4th, and Tobias in the top 5. Charlie Booth, Delilah Hazel, John Tracy battled it out throughout this entire race. So seeing how they finished out, I think Delilah was applying pressure as they crossed the start-finish line for the last time during that Pro and Silver race this past Sunday. So again, John Tracy, Tobias Gable, your top 5. Anthony Anderson, Jarrett Skinner, Stephen Dunn, Alejandro Aguilar, and Daniel Pickett. Not saying it, Pickett. It's not going to happen. Daniel Pickett rounds out your top 10. Nathan Edwards, Paul Morris, Wyardi Rombouts, Nate Lamlin not participating are your pro class drivers this week. Paul Morris moving over to the Porsche 2 for this season. Ran last season in the Jaguar. So an interesting move there. We'll see if Paul gets on a little better in the Porsche as the season goes on. And I do just want to jump over to standings because, let me see here. Yeah, we do have team standings. We got 5 teams. Only 5 teams teamed up, so apparently that's what we've got.
I don't care. We're in 2nd.
But just to explain to everybody, there were teams this season. People pick their own teammates. A pro class driver would pick like a pro-am or an am driver, and they just made up teams to add a little bit of fun to the season. So Rockefeller Racing currently sitting in 1st, Dream Team Racing in 2nd, that Mr. Willie is a part of. The Bandsaggers, I do not want to know who came up with that, is in 3rd and on podium for team standings. Yit Cows Racing Sprint which I told Blue that he was going to be the downfall of that team, and I was not far off. And Akina Speedstars not participating, and therefore only -5 points for not participating this week. We'll keep an eye on those team standings as we get through the season.
I thought there was at least 2 that was racing with Atkins.
I wonder if click through here. Alejandro Aguilar, and we've got Rob Kisar, Alex Martin, and Matthew Givens. So
yeah, they all raced.
Did they all race?
No, Matthew Givens.
Givens did not. So yeah, he would have cost 5 points to the team there. We'll have to talk to Huff. Maybe Huff can join us one of these days and tell us exactly how that's going to work. And now I lost the ability to do things. We'll have to talk to Huff and see. I don't know how the team standings are work and why there are only 5 teams. I thought we would have had more than that, but I don't know how it works on SimGrid to be able to talk to it. So,
well, so with our team, Dream Team, we had Robert Kinney not race.
Okay.
So that's a little confusing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Matthew Givens also didn't.
Yeah,
why we wouldn't be down.
Well, Huff will let us know.
Okay.
He's in the chat, but he'll let us know. So let's, as we watch some highlights from the AM and Pro-Am race, let's talk a little bit about race 2 this week, going to Barcelona. So, and it doesn't matter where you race. It's Xbox, it's PC, it doesn't matter. Give me your thoughts, gentlemen, on Barcelona. Good track, bad track, better than Paul Ricard. Where are we going with this?
Well, you should know what I'm going to say.
Your left tires are in agony half the time.
Okay.
And I seem to always, I can't remember if it's my left front or my left rear. There's one tire that no matter what car or what the weather is like, I end up just overheating the hell out of it for some reason. I think it's just that one long sweeper toward the beginning of the lap.
Okay.
That I just pushed too hard.
Burning them out. Burn them out a little bit. That's going to happen, that's for sure. What about you, Willie? What do you think of Barcelona?
Considering I just started practicing on it as soon as I told Anderson to put it up on the practice server. You might see me in a different car, and I might enjoy it.
Yeah. All right, so hold on.
I was there.
You bring up a great point, Willie. Let me ask you a question. Name your favorite GT World Challenge driver. Who do you watch this season? Or who did you watch last season?
None of them.
Okay. Fife, what about you? Do you watch?
You mean in real life?
Yeah, real life driver.
I will watch, but I just watch the pretty cars go by. I don't really pay attention to the...
Okay.
It's hard to really pick favorite drivers because it's usually, teams. It's not like F1 where it's just 20 names that you can easily remember.
Maximilian Book, Lawrence Van Thor, Dries Van Thor. I mean, I know all
Dale
of them.
Earnhardt.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt, of course. Praise Dale, right? So you're let's pretend for a minute you're Lawrence Van Thor. You're driving the Audi. You start the season in an Audi, and I know these guys change leagues. I call it leagues, right? Let's call it levels, right? They might move from GT3 to GT2 or something. I get that. And because they do that, they might go drive for a different manufacturer, or stay in GT3 and drive for a different manufacturer next season. I've never seen a driver start at the season off in, say, an Audi, and then 3 races in is driving a Porsche. Have you?
No, because I don't watch the races.
Okay. Point being is, these guys don't just trade.
Oh, I completely understand that.
But my point is, should you be allowed to change cars in the middle of the season?
We'll leave that one up to Huff.
Oh, I know it's up to Huff. I'm not asking whether it's up to Huff. I'm asking, do you think drivers should be able to change cars in the middle of the season?
I'd say, I think that we talked about last season was maybe just allowing one change per season, like per the season. Like you can't just pick whatever car is good at that track and race that.
Well, you're getting a quali ban anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
When you change cars, you're getting a quali ban, which I think is completely fair, and it's a good way to shut it down, and it prevents people from doing that because they're going to start at the back of the grid. I just don't think you should be able to at all. If you want to change cars next season, if you want to come back in season 6, if you're driving the McLaren and next season you want to drive the Merc, okay, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. It's like changing teams, right? If we talk about real life driving, I just don't think you should be able to drive. I don't think you should be able to drive or change cars in the middle of a season. I think you should have to stick with what you stuck with or what you chose.
Well, tough.
That's just my opinion. I'm asking you guys. What do you think? What about you, Fife? What do you think? You think you should be able to just change cars?
On Xbox, we allow one change per season, and it's a quality ban.
Okay.
So that way, it's a nuclear option in case the car you picked, you just end up despising to the point where you're not having fun. You can at least change to a car you like. But any more than that, and I'd also say it depends on the length of the season too. Like I'm more, if you guys are running a crazy like 15 race season, I'd be more in line with that versus if it's like a casual 4 race series or something.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from, but I feel like if you come into a season, you're going to commit to driving a season, that you should have practiced with your car ahead of time and know whether or not that car is going to fit you or not. And I'm not saying never let anybody change. Yeah, that's a good tactical bring in the chat. I think one swap, but it has to be within the first 2 races. To your point, Fife, if it's just a car that's
fair,
horrible, and you just are not getting along with it, it gives you one opportunity
to
bail out.
Yeah, you'll know within the first race or 2 whether you like that car or not. So it's not like you conveniently switch to a car with a ton of top end speed on a power card. Yeah, like round 4 or something.
Nightcore. Here's the thing, though. Changing cars is normal in real world racing. I don't see drivers doing it in the middle of the season. Is my point. Drivers will change if I'm a Merc driver today, and I do a whole season of SRO or a whole season of the World Challenge or the Asia Challenge or whatever it might be. I'm under contract to stick with that team for the season. Now, next season, I might jump to another team, absolutely. But I don't think you see drivers moving between manufacturers in one season. I don't think it happens. At least I've never seen it.
Or at least in the same series. They may compete in 2 different series and 2 different cars, but they're
exactly.
Related.
Yep. I think, and I could agree with that, right? They might they might do the 24-hour series that goes to Nürburgring and goes all these places. And they're driving a GT3 car. It might be an Audi, and then they're doing GT World Challenge, and they're driving a Porsche. Who knows? And I agree with you on that. What I'm saying is they're not, for that series, they are not changing in the middle of the season. I've never seen it happen, so I don't know. It was just an interesting point you brought up about possibly changing cars. So I was curious what your thoughts are on that.
Okay, and I mean, that, or at least as far as I know, that that. I love the Aston Martin. I do. But it's just been the only car that I've been in on ACC.
Okay.
So pretty much anything I change to is going to be very new to me.
Okay. And that's a disadvantage.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you, Adam. Do you remember which order the other 2 cars you tried? Remember which one you tried first and which one you tried second?
I do.
Which one did you end up preferring at the end?
At the end, the first one.
Okay.
But the second one was close. It was close.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Nice. Well, we've talked about last week. We've talked about next week going to Barcelona. Fife, you said Xbox is headed to Watkins Glen. I wish we could watch those races, but spectator mode is still broken. So even if I had an Xbox, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's not. It's like 10% functional. As long as you stay in the same camera angle and leave all the intrusive HUD up, then you can stream a whole entire race.
Which I have a huge problem with. I have such a problem with. All the data and everything's going back to a server. It'd be nice if they just set up so you tap that server and spectate. You know what I mean? Like if you could hit the server as a spectator and it would just, you could go to, even if it was a website that you could make full screen, that'd be fantastic. Because then I could cover races for you guys and actually use our overlays and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So it'd be great.
Are you able to save replays?
You can save replays, but right now they're weird. For a while it was like you'd record, at any point in the race, you'd hit save replay and it would record the past 3 or 4 minutes. Now they're insane. Like I did a public lobby 20-minute race and recorded something that happened at the end, and it recorded 20 minutes for me.
It saved the whole thing.
Don't know why, don't know how. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I wish we had the option that you guys have where you can adjust, how, I think on PC you can say how many minutes you want replays to be or whatever.
Up to an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. You're talking more in depth.
Yeah, up to an hour and 15 minutes. So like here, if we take a look at Paul Ricard, if I just bring this up quick, there's highlights, but there's also, this is the entire race, an hour and 8 minutes. That's from the time I got on the server until the end of the race. The whole thing's there. So that does make it nice. The longest, but the longest you can go is an hour and 15. I really wish it would go longer, but unfortunately it does not.
Yeah. Even if there was, the caveat that you had to have like an external drive plugged into the Xbox or something for it to work. Because you can already do that with the native Xbox clips you record on the console. You can record a lot longer if you have an external hooked up, and that's the destination for those.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the functionality exists within the console.
Yeah, you just got to get ACC to use it, I guess. Oh, well, we'll get you there, Fife. Don't. All right, guys, let's jump over. As I said, we've talked about last week. We talked about next week. We've looked at standings. Let's jump into it. We're going to get to it right now, and we missed out last week. I know everybody was disappointed. It's time for the Rig Roast review. And first up,
we did some last week.
No, we threw down a little bit. Yeah, we did yours live.
Yeah, we did mine.
That's right.
Yeah, but then I rearranged everything.
Then you moved everything, so it doesn't matter. Yep. You have to post new pictures when you're done.
All
right, let's talk about Will Campbell up front. Now, I cannot. So all the rigs this week, where in the past when we were doing recovery drive before the holidays, everybody had info there, what kind of PC they were running, what their wheel was, their pedals, everything. The ones this week, like everybody stopped doing that, so there was no information there. And I'm not going to pretend I know what these things are. That looks like, is that a SimCube or a SimMagic wheelbase there for Will? That's what it looks like to me, but I can't tell 100%.
I just want to know what's on his steering wheel.
Well, and that is the other.
Is that grip tape?
So here's the thing.
I think it's grip tape. Yep.
Well, so so the rig looks real stable. It's 80/20 rig, right? Nice solid wheelbase mounted. The throat for it comes right out from under the monitor, so that's obviously going to be mounted almost perfectly. Then I see the seat, and I like the glittery purple he's got going on with the seat, but it clashes with the green on the steering wheel, unless he's going for like a Joker theme. Is that possible?
I think
that makes sense.
The Flake might have some green in it, at least from my monitor.
There you go.
So,
okay. Little bit of green in the Flake. Okay.
I think that's the NRG seat. I was actually looking at one of those. The NRG Prism, I think, is what it's called. But yeah, it has like the glittery back. Which is pretty cool.
Gotcha. All in all, though, I don't know why he's got grip tape, but whatever he needs it for, apparently he is not coming off that wheel for the entirety of the race. So good for him.
Then he has all of his wires right next to him by the wall.
I see that. Yeah, like there's no cable management here.
No, and it's behind his seat, and oh geez, wrap some tape around it or something.
Get some Velcro tape.
Wrap the wires in grip tape.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. more green.
More green grip tape, and just But yeah, there's no wire management. I saw that too, like back in that corner under the wheelbase there. You can see that it's just, it looks like the rig, like it almost looks like the wheelbase and everything came together and just puked off the side of the rig, all the electricity, and then got back up on the rig. That's horrible. We shouldn't pick on people, but it is a rig roast. That's what.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's why we're here.
All right, moving on. Mr. Scenes that drives with us every week, Azatec Sim Sport pedals under there. Now this guy's got it kind of pimped out, right? He's got the button box. There's at least one dashboard, and the picture's a little different because now I see, he's got like the CPU and the monitor, the monitor to the right hand of the steering wheel. To the left, there's something else going on, and then we can see he's got the dashboard, the complete dash. It looks like he's running, I think that's going to be a Sim Hub. Dash Studio. Sorry, it's a Dash Studio. But that should be a Sim Hub plugin, I believe. I can even see a Steam Deck down there in the corner. So
got that e-brake too.
It does. Yep.
See that.
Look at the e-brake, the shifters down there. Ton of cool stuff in this picture. again,
it's hard to roast this one. Besides maybe wire management.
I was gonna say a little cable management, right? Come on now. Make me sad with your cable.
Especially down there by your feet. Granted, you know, I'm not gonna say anything about mine, but this is kind of a setup that I wouldn't mind having.
It looks like he's done a lot. I mean, obviously everybody does a lot of work to theirs. Not to pick on Will Campbell, obviously he's put work into his too. But this looks like, I don't know, it looks like Scenes it's just taken a lot of time to get things where he wants them, right? That button box is mounted just to the right of the wheel. It's right where he wants it. And it fits, if you look at that bottom picture, it fits just right with that tablet to where, whether he's using it for that or whether he's using it for a dashboard, doesn't matter. It sits right on top of it. It looks like he took a lot of time to put that together. So I don't know. It's like you said, Fife, it's hard to roast this one, except for your wire management, which mine's not perfect. I want to move it. And I know, Fife, you said you put yours like under the pedal plate, right?
Yeah, I have mine. I pretty much routed in like the channels of the extrusion. I basically run as many wires in there. If I have like 5 wires, obviously they can't fit through it, but I'll just have them as close together. And since the rig is black, I'll basically just wrap electrical tape around it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So just in, 2 or 4 foot sections. So it blends in. You don't see it unless you're really looking for it. And then, yeah, everything it's spaghetti under the rig. And then there's a shelf behind the TV that's holding the Xbox, a power strip, the butt kicker amp and all that. And it just looks like spaghetti behind there.
Gotcha.
But when you walk into the room, it looks clean. So
yeah.
That's what matters. The fire hazard, that's no worry.
So mine's on the side. I was nervous about putting it under the pedal plate and having all that wiring down there by my feet. But now that you've said it, I think I might rewire mine. But one thing I will tell you I did is I went to, and I'll hold this up as close as I can. I went to, actually found them on Etsy. These fit into the 2080 of your aluminum profile, right? They clip in. And then there's different sizes for different number of wires. So I actually got a pack of these. So they clip, they basically, they're split here at the bottom, okay? Where the say the prongs are. You put your wires in here and then you just give them a twist into the 2080, into the groove of the 2080. And it just sits there and holds the wires. Okay. So I have smaller ones for the sides, and then where it gets down towards the bottom where more wire has to be grouped up, I got a slightly larger size to hold everything. Plus I use the Velcro tape. So yeah.
And that those work well. I've seen those. I've thought about buying them, but they
work.
I think it's someone like Track Racer, and they were going to charge like $15 for 10 of them or something.
No, what I pay? I think I want to say I paid like $20, and the guy sent me a pack of like 30 or 4. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was worth it to me.
You don't really need more than 30.
No, you shouldn't.
Because you want to send some my way?
Well, plus at one point, you've got to take, say, a power cable. Well, unless you're going to get custom power cables cut off your bricks, which none of us are going to do that. I don't think any of us are. You're going to have too much cable, and these things aren't big enough. So that's where the Velcro tape comes in to kind of wrap those down, put 2 reels of Velcro tape on it, and then right to the side of the rig. Done. So it works out well.
Or what you could do is just put your rig inside of a closet. Boom. Wire management.
That's not how that works at all.
It is. I'll show you right now. All right.
I was about to say, that's what he just did.
But that doesn't manage your wiring. Just because it looks like a pile behind the monitor does not mean it's wire managed.
You can't see it. It's wire banished.
You know what? We might not see it, but you know it's there. And you have to live with yourself like that.
I'd be okay with that.
Well, that's up to you. If you need to live like that, that's good. You do that. All right, let's move on there and see who's next. Peter LaFrance is next. That is some crazy. He's got the so Peter LaFrance, again, another one with a button box set up. I'm counting so far like 3 tablets, I think. Right? There's one in the middle.
Is that a 4th one? No, that's on screen.
Yeah, there's one in the middle. Yeah, that's on screen. So there's one in the middle, there's one to the right, and there's one lower on the right below the button box. Looks like a Track Racer seat. Can't tell the wheel and the wheelbase and everything. Maybe somebody in the chat can identify it.
You might as well count the monitor up top of a tablet too.
Yeah, well, I have one of those though, so I don't know. I don't use it for the same thing. But he's got are all 3 of those monitors curved? Because I can tell the one on the right looks like curved, but it's hard to tell with the other two. I would assume the one on the left is too, unless he's mismatching, but he's got the little multi-monitor spanners in there to make sure there's no with the bezel hiders. So got a lot going on here. It looks pretty professional to me. I don't know about that fire in the back on in the background on the right.
I like the fireplace.
Well, I like fireplaces. I'm saying, how close are you going to put it to your rig? There's another. So this little thing, if you look below the fire and below the right-hand monitor, that's another tablet holder. It's got to be for holding a tablet, right?
Where?
The little black thing right below the right-hand monitor. You see the little frame right below it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, unless that's part of the rig, but that looks like that looks like another tablet mount. Peter, I got to ask, how many screens can you look at one time while you're driving?
All of them.
Like, when do you go from this helps me race better to this is a distraction because I got too many buttons?
You do have to be aware of your surroundings.
Because that bottom tablet is being used as a button box, right? You can see. It's just you can see it's got buttons on it. It says Sparco, and it's got little buttons on it, which I assume he has mapped to do something.
I want to know, what is the point of a button box?
Life?
It gives you, I can say as an Xbox user who's limited to the buttons on a wheel.
Oh yeah.
And some of them being, it just gives you extra functions. I actually have like a tiny little macro keyboard. Those actually work for some functions on Xbox. So all the functions that you really don't need in a race, but because you want to be immersive, you map them to that. And that's what I did.
Okay.
Like wipers and lights and things like that.
I can see the desire for one. Depending on, I don't know that myself I would ever need one. I think my wheel has enough buttons on it, and if I need to do more than that, it's usually in menus, so I'll just grab my keyboard. So for me personally, I don't know that I would ever need a button box. Now that depends though what I'm doing, because I also enjoy, it's my Stardew Valley of sim racing. I enjoy American Truck Simulator, and I could absolutely see having a button box for that, because there's enough function there that it could actually be really useful.
For those truck simulators, do they have like 17 speed shifters available?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if they have that. I've never really looked, because I use my Fanatec shifter, and what you have to do is, because it's only 7 speed with reverse, of course, but you end up mapping a button on the steering wheel. So you'll go from 1st to 7th, and then once you need to go to 8th, you'll hit a button, shift, and it'll go to 8th, from 8th to 13th, or what have you for you.
Okay.
That's the way to do it. For me, that was the easiest way to do it.
That's a decent workaround, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I do think they have some of the shifters, because I've seen videos of people with the real long shifters with the handle on it, so they can get into those extra gears.
Yeah. Rose Gaming in chat says they do have those shifters. He has one. Or they have one. So.
That's crazy.
I use the Fanatec shifter with what is called an SKRS shifter knob. Well, now you got to type stuff in chat that I have to remember after this is over, and I'm going to have to go type it into Google now so I don't forget.
Copy.
Okay, there we go. SKRS shifter knob. I'll look that up afterwards. Thank you, Rose Gaming. Nikor says, for Euro Truck Sim, use the sequential mode for the Fanatec on the Fanatec shifter. Why?
Not immersive.
Rigs don't have sequential shifters. I might as well just use the paddles on the steering wheel.
No, I think that's what they're talking about.
Well, no, he's saying switch the Fanatec shifter into sequential mode.
Oh, I got you.
And you could just
if you use the paddles when you're doing massive drifts, how are you going to counter steer and shift at the same time?
You got to work around it.
100%. Tactical in the chat says this would make a great sim, a good flight sim rig as well. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'd really like to be able to do, is do both. And I don't see it being easy to come out of HOTAS and everything and still have it out of the way when you want to race. So
I have the Turtle Beach yoke that I use for flight sim, and it has essentially just a desk clamp that's built into it. So you just loosen some screws and they lower down, and then you tighten back up. And so I take 2 bolts out of my wheelbase, take it off, and then just screw this thing on, and it takes 20 seconds maybe.
Oh, no kidding.
But the tricky thing, if you get into fight sim, is just, and I haven't done it yet, but if you get the rudder pedals,
yeah,
because then theoretically you'd have to unbolt your car pedals and swap them every single time.
That or I just match. I think I just match the clutch and the accelerator to the rudder pedals and be done.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean? Like the Turtle Beach has triggers.
Oh, okay.
Well, on Xbox you can't use a pedal set through USB or whatever. It has to be plugged in the wheelbase. So, but yeah, it has triggers on the back of the yoke, so you use those for rudders.
Gotcha.
Which is, for me, I'm not crazy into it, but it's enough for me.
Huh. Yeah, it'd be fun. So,
yeah, the only thing I can complain about on this rig, it just looks like it's hard to get in and out of. It looks like there's something around it at all 360 degrees.
True.
Well, you can't see that left side either.
There's a giant tripod or something.
Plus if his screen is out. Boom mic. Yeah, it might be a boom mic, but there's still a tripod behind the seat. So yeah, you're right. You can't really tell to the left side how much space there is between the monitor and the seat to be able to slip in there.
I mean, unless his right side just completely folds out.
Maybe.
That's true.
Also, above the fireplace,
he jumps into it.
There's another screen. Because I can see.
You just noticed that?
No, I didn't just notice it. I'm just saying now that there's another screen. Oh my Lord.
That's to simulate, like sometimes at racetracks they'll have the big screens up on the side of the track, showing the commentary. So it's like that. He can watch the replay camera of himself as he's driving on track.
For the audience noise.
Well, obviously a streamer, when we see OBS up there, I see at least 2 cameras. There's one pointed, looks like towards the button box, and there is one coming down from the right-hand side. So you're out there streaming it up hard with that much hardware. That's fantastic. There's, again, the amount of effort, not effort. I don't want to say like it's effort that people don't want to do it, but the amount of care, I guess, is the word I'm looking for, and attention that folks put into their rigs sometimes is just absolutely fantastic. And I wish I had that motivation, but instead I sit here and talk to these two. Moving on, Olive Hawk. This is an Xbox racer, or is only in the Xbox role. So I don't know how much they race with us, Fife. Now, I'm going to say this right now up front. Everybody's watching right now is saying they're going to make fun of Olive Hawk for the wooden stand. I'm not going to make fun of it. We all start somewhere, right?
I was supposed to say, we saw, who was it, Blue? No,
we got
Blue
guys,
or Chief?
Blue's rig is just, yeah, Chief. We did Chief's rig. Chief's rig was
and it's just a box.
Yeah, it was just a box, and I think he did it on purpose. But so I don't want to come at Olive and make fun of it for the wood. What I do want to say is I question the stability. Like I would be afraid mid-race, this thing would just go flying towards the television out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, he might put like weights or something in front of it. Yeah. You put a dumbbell in front of each leg, that might work. I can tell you though, as far as side to side and back and forth, that's probably more stable than the wheel stand I used to use. The one with like the single pole that goes up in between your legs. The Wheel Stand Pro, like $150 names. That thing, I mean, it served its function, but I guarantee you this is more stable than that.
Think so? I love the ingenuity. You could tell this was built, Olive built this. And anybody who can do that impresses me, because I can't build anything. Like I said, maybe there's some weights on there, but I worry about the front back stability. Like you go to get out of it and it just tips over, or it obviously is balanced. It's standing there, but.
So I kind of feel like he didn't build this, because that looks like one of them like trays that you can get at like Walmart.
It does, except
and for just sit on your couch and you know what I'm talking about.
I do, like a TV tray you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Does somebody have a shifter mount sticking off on the right side though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the board is further out on that side, but it's flush on the left. If in this top down shot, it's flush on the left. See what I'm saying?
He could just have a board.
If he didn't make it from scratch, it's at least modified.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say it's modified, because the legs are rounded. They've been routed out, unless he took time to route them out. But you can see the routing on the legs. You can see they've been polyurethaned, right? So yeah, I would say it's modified, but still, I
mean,
use what you got.
If this is his first rig, not bad. As long as it gets its function done, who cares?
Red Rider says Blues rig is mostly duct tape. Probably. I would probably agree with that. Yeah, and you're right, Adam. If this gets the job done, who cares? We all start somewhere. And then if this is, listen, if this is where Olive starts on Xbox with this rig and setup that they built themselves, you know what? Good on you, because you got more motivation than me. If I would have had to build something to sim race, I probably never would have sim raced. Because I can't
not build your setup.
I can't build things.
Okay, let me ask.
Assembling and designing and building are two different things.
Two very different things. Yeah, I can follow instructions. I build Legos stuff. Yeah, I build Legos all the time, but I can't design and build a sim racing rig.
Like, you're not a true man, Molson.
So like, well, you can say that, I guess.
Well, yeah, because no, you follow instructions.
Yeah, that's
real men don't need instructions.
I mean, I look at somebody like Zap, right? Zap's like out in his garage on stream, welding, and there's sparks flying everywhere, and I'm like, good for you, dude, but. No, it's not me. It's just not what I do.
I can't do it either. So
I just can't. It's horrible.
I just rush measuring things. I'd be like, yeah, that's close enough. And then I'd put it together and it'd be wobbling.
Measure once, cut twice. That's actually, the rule, right? Isn't that how that goes? I'm pretty sure that's how that goes.
Which I forgot about that rule, and I fucked up my little stand for my TV. It's like that much too thin.
Well,
and it sucks.
You forgot the other rule. Didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, you did. See what you did? Fife, we have a rule here. We don't cuss on stream.
Oh.
At box 3. See?
Oh.
Adam forgot.
I apologize. I might have once.
I was doing so good, too.
I know, you were doing really well. You were doing really well, and then you blew it out for everybody. So let's talk real quick, guys, before we go here tonight. So we've got next Saturday. What time's that kickoff, Fife?
We have our drivers meeting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6:30 UTC, and then the qualifying starts about 10 minutes after that, and then the race starts at 2 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. UTC.
Excellent. So Watkins Glen on Xbox next week. Those guys will be back for that. Make sure all the Xbox drivers get out there. It's fantastic. Again, Fife, thank you so much for keeping that together. And this season's been really, or last season was really successful, and I think we're going to see that happen for this season 6 as well on Xbox. And as we talked about, PCACC is back at Barcelona next Sunday. That kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for AM and Pro-Am drivers. Silver and Pro follow right after, and we always join those on stream. And I take that back. I'm a dirty, dirty liar, and nobody should listen to me ever. There is no, well, Barcelona's not this weekend. Barcelona's not until the 29th, and I keep screwing it up because I couldn't understand why there was a break. So instead, get over to the Discord, because there's going to be a 2.4-hour race at Suzuka this Sunday that starts, I believe it's still at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Huff said. No classing, everybody will be on track together. Go get signed up. There's only 3 cars you can choose from. They're all Japanese. The Acura, the Honda, and the Lexus. That's it. Wait. The Acura.
Yeah, the Nissan.
Nissan, sorry. The Nissan, the Honda, and the Lexus. I don't know why I said Acura. Because it's NSX, right? The game. Yeah, but it's NSX, right?
Yeah. It's Acura over here.
I got you.
In the US.
It's Acura over here. That's why. But yeah, the Lexus, the Honda, and the Nissan are the 3 cars you can choose from. And we're going to run 2.4 hours at Suzuka. It will be broadcast live here at Box 3 Motorsports. And I think Huff said there's going to Fife, didn't he say last night there'd be a little bit of a time multiplier in there? Going to bump it up a little bit. I think he said that last night while we were chatting. So
I don't remember.
And
I wouldn't
be surprised. You guys left me. But... No, he did.
Yep. Oh yeah, there you were. Yeah, we abandoned you. I told you we'd be back, and you were gone by the time we got back there. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I had to go to bed.
I know, you were tuckered. I went to bed right after because you weren't there, so not my fault. With that, folks, we are ready to take off for today. I want to thank Adam Willie. I want to thank Mr. B Fife himself for joining us this week, having a good time. Anything to say, guys, before we take off? Fife, you stream, right? What's your Twitch channel?
It's B_Fife22, I think, is what Twitch made me do.
Yep. There you
go. Yeah, I stream, and there's plenty of other Xbox drivers that stream. So we all should post our links in the live stream section in the Discord. So
absolutely, everybody should
right around that time, everyone will post their links.
Excellent. And I still wish we had coverage for Xbox, but spectator mode doesn't really work at this point anyway, so it wouldn't do us much good. Will, you got anything for the people before we take off tonight, sir?
I did, and then I immediately forgot.
Okay, well, that's all right. Well, I got stuff, and I'm just going to let people know. Again, we're back this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2.4 hours at Suzuka. Japanese makes only, with Honda, Nissan, and Lexus on track for our PCACC drivers. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you, Adam, Willie. Thank you, Mr. B5. You guys have yourselves a great week. Come back this Sunday and check us out. Thank you so much.